Jamaica with Jamaica Life. And I got some plants in. One, I don't know what it is. So this one I'm a little word leery about. But this one I'm pretty much sure I know what it is. I'm not going to plant them on TV or on your phone, but there are some tropical plants out there that I grew up on them. And they are very hard to find out here in Texas. Let me log in so I can see who's talking to me. Oh, I forget this thing is so used to touching the screen. And then when I can't touch the screen, I'm like, well, what's going on with this thing? Why won't it? Why won't it show? Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to see the chat, and I can't see the chat right now. So today is going to be an unboxing. Hello, sweets of heaven. How are you doing? This is going to be an unboxing because I found this outside. Well, I got a notification on my phone. So these shipments most likely come from Etsy. I know this one does, but I'm like, where did I get, I order a lot of things. That's what I do with my little money I make on YouTube. I buy trees. I got an addiction. I got so many trees, I don't know what to do. But these trees are trees and plants and shrubs that I can't find here in Texas. And I'm not going to drive all the way down to Corpus Christi or down to the coast to try to find them. Aransas or Padre. I'm not driving almost to Mexico to go and try to find these because I know they're down there. I don't have to ask because these are tropical plants. And most likely, they have them. They just call them by a different name. Sometimes when I talk to people, I'm like, I'm looking for this. And they're like, what? And then I show them a picture of the fruit. And they know what I'm talking about. They're like, oh, no, we call that this. And I'm like, well, that's what I'm looking for. So this one, I already opened two. So I opened this one, right? And they packaged them very well. So I know there's some people who are nurseries. I don't know how they're getting around it, but I think that they have to go through the USDA, depending if it comes from, yeah, it's inspected. So it's going to get inspected by the Department of Agriculture. It's going to go through the Department of Agriculture. That's what it says. And it has the inspection thing on here, right here. You'll see that when it comes in. So I'm not sure what this one is because I don't see that on this one. I don't know what this is. I don't know. All right. So I opened these two the other day, and these are cacao. This is what these are this is the plant that makes the cacao pods. And the fruit is really like a sour, sweet taste. And then they take the seeds, they bake them or they render them down. They heat them up, and then they pound them into cocoa. That's how we make cocoa from this tree. But it serves two purposes. The fruit I think is better than chocolate. This is the plant that makes chocolate. These two. All right, I got them on Etsy. I haven't been ordering from Etsy in a little while, a couple of years actually, because I had no, I didn't have any bad. It was eBay I had experience with. But somehow I stopped ordering from Etsy and eBay for a while. eBay's still on my, possible list to order from. But Etsy seems to have some good ones. So this one came in also. And look, they come in like this. They come in pretty good. This is only one little yellow leaf on there. And this is a leaf, a baby leaf. You see that leaf? I know what breadfruit looks like. Now, if you haven't had breadfruit, oh Lord, you're missing out. I think it's better than potatoes. If you're on the East Coast, Miss Sweets don't have to say, I'm great, how are you? And who is this? Dahan beetle? No. Bentley, I think. How are you doing? I tried the fruit. I got it from my local farmer's market. The cacao, oh man. I got some from our supermarket the first time, and it was expensive. And I was like, oh, every now and then I splurge. Because I didn't have cacao until about maybe a year ago. Never tried it. I saw it at the supermarket, and that one pod was, I think, $11. But my friend and I both tried it. He liked it and I liked it. So this one is from, I think it's from a nursery, right? But definitely open and inspected by the United States Department of Agriculture. There it is right there. I think that they're using cocoa coir and peat moss because they can't use soil. It won't go through. I know that because soil carries diseases. So when they send these things out, when they plant these plants, they must just give them a bunch of fertilizer in order to keep them alive because there's no real soil on the plant when you get it, which is probably why these are wilting, these cacao right here. And this is big. This is bigger than I thought it was going to be. When I order stuff from other places, man, they come in super small. I'm having my own summer over here, by the way. All right, Jamaica. I get irritated with myself because I can't get it open. I never liked opening boxes. I tell my friends, hey, if you're going to give me something, don't wrap it. I don't like opening boxes, period. I don't know if it's PTSD or not. I just don't like it. But it's a necessary thing when you want plants that you can't find in your local. Pronounced Diana, last name pronounced like Warren Betty. Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to open this. They another thing. Let me move this out of the way. When they put this stuff in here, it's like opening up Fort Knox. They put boxes upon boxes because they want to make sure they package these things well. They make sure they tape it on the bottom. Let me see where the bottom is. I think this is the bottom. They make sure they tape it on the bottom, and you can't get in this joker. It's hard. It's a box in a box. Okay, that's one box down. Put that over there. All right, this one should be a little bit simpler. Try not to damage the plant because I'm going to show you this is an unboxing of what you're going to get from an Etsy, not all, just the one that I ordered from an Etsy seller. And so far I've ordered, how many plants did I order from Etsy so far? That's 5, and these, I don't know what this one is, so I don't know what that is, but this I ordered. All right. Yep. Same seller because it's the same packaging. See that? And the USDA, they taped it to the bottom of the box. See that? So if you start selling on Etsy, that's how they do it. They tape it to the bottom of the box, and this plant does not move. And they make sure they put enough water in here so that it can survive for a little while. This is another breadfruit tree. I know it by its leaf. And then on here it says how to care for tropical tree. Let me do this first. First things first. Let me get this thing off of its thing. I was like, these people really know what they're doing. Look at that. That's a breadfruit tree. Now this is my 3rd one. I didn't know I ordered 3, but apparently I did. Sometimes I order stuff in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to order that. And I've already ordered it. Instead of checking my history, I just go ahead and order again and again. I'm trying to get this thing out. Let me read what she said, or he said. I always assumed that people who run nurseries are women. I don't know. It's not true, but that's what I envision a woman. I envision women as gardeners as women. That's not true too. There's a lot of men who's gardening. It says, how often I have to water the plant to recognize that plants need irrigation. One of the most helpful things is to use your finger. We put it into the soil pot up to a pot up to the half. So I guess I'll just stick. Yeah, I do the same thing. I stick my finger in there. If we notice humidity and when we take it out, we come back and water it. This is all, and it's in Spanish. It's in different languages. And it tells you to scrape it with a knife if it comes like with no leaves. Because I've had, not from Etsy though, I've had plants show up. One of these soursop came in here. The postal department has smushed it. They're doing better now because they got more competition. But back then, man, they had no respect for the packages. You get it, and that box was flat. And I was like, obvious, and I think that if you write fragile on the box, it's even worse. Because they'd be like, it says fragile. And they step on it. How dare you tell me how to do my job? So this is how to care for the plant. I don't think there's anything on here that I don't already know. How do I take care of the plant? How do I keep the plant alive? It says to scrape it with a knife. If you see green color, then it's okay. What temperature is suitable for my tree? So these are breadfruit. They're tropical trees, and breadfruit gets just almost as big as mango trees. Can't leave them outside though. They can't be in the cold. So it says suitable temperature is 82 to 90 degrees. So this joker's gonna live in the greenhouse. I need a greenhouse that is at least 2 stories high. What I need is one of those high tunnels. That's what I need. Maybe I'll put one out in the country. I'm afraid that it's gonna get swooped away with all the stuff going on in Texas. Lord have mercy. So, the least it can support is 60 to 55 degrees. So 60 to 55. That's not. We get cold snaps, but we don't get a lot of them. It'll be in the greenhouse for a couple of years though until I could figure it out. Because I want some breadfruit. Definitely. Happy life forever. How you doing? So this is breadfruit, and I was raised on eating. I ate this since I was a little girl. This is really good, and I think if you're a diabetic, it's better for you than the potatoes. It tastes better than potatoes. It's like a light, airy potato. I love it. You can bake it, and I've had it baked and boiled and fried. Man, whoo, child. And this one I just started. The cacao, the chocolate tree. So what is this? I don't know. I'm afraid to open this joker. Jupiter. This one is from Florida. So you know that USDA went through this. It's a plant because it's saying planting in the ground. But I don't know what it is. I hope I could recognize it by its leaf. Because it's sure, unless this is something else. I can't read their handwriting. We'll see. Because that looked like my ackee trees. That looked like my ackee trees outside. But I remember when I used to sell clothes on one of those, secondhand clothing online. And one time I sent somebody the wrong thing. They kept it. It's like, well, and it was expensive too. I was so upset. I said, well, that's part of being a business owner. You gotta be careful. I'm glad they did this because I don't know what it is. So this is the chocolate tree. That might be ackee again. How did I get full ackee? This one is definitely says, that's what it says, red pod, cocoa, chocolate, tropical fruit. Shouldn't have showed you that because I had my address on it. Throw that to the side. All right. So let's see. had some people come by the other day. Normally I don't let people come to my house, but they wanted to buy some chickens and they wanted to buy a whole bunch of them. So I was like, I brought some chickens out there to them, and the lady was like, do you have anything else? And I was like, normally, I said, I don't let, but she had her kids with her and gave me they played on me with them kids. And kids always do it. They always make me break the rules. I hope I ain't sorry one day. So I brought the whole family came over here. Man, the husband went, he went into that chicken coop. Yeah, I gave him the fishing net. You know, that's how you catch chickens, with the fishing net. That joker was catching them chickens looking left and right. All I was, they were running around. I was like, good riddance to you. There's too many of y'all in here. Some people get real sentimental about their pets. Not me. Not me. They gotta go. They gotta go. I got too many of them. They shooting. They give me trouble. Them roosters are gone. I got one. Hopefully I have one rooster. Sometimes I slip up and have more than one rooster. The rest of them are gone. I ain't care. I just want them to go. But the hens, I put up with the hens because they don't make too much noise. And they put out eggs. Roosters just make a bunch of noise. But they do fertilize eggs. Because I got I got 42 eggs incubating right now. That's why when they were catching them, because they always want the prettiest ones, right? I was like, shoot, you can have them jokers, take them. I got plenty where that comes from. I got almost 50 eggs in the incubator. I didn't tell them that. I was thinking that while he was jumping around catching them hens. They weren't the friendliest ones anyway. And they were like, oh my God, they're so pretty. I was like, I know they're pretty, but they're a lot of work. And I had too many. I know I had too many. But I do it as a side hustle. Everybody got to have a side hustle, right? Nobody wants an ugly hen, by the way. The ugly ones they left there. They took the pretty ones. I thought to myself, and they were like, oh my God. And kids were running around eating tomatoes, and the wife was eating cucumbers. They're like, you're growing everything. Everything's fresh back here. I was like, y'all need to go in your yard and throw some seeds down. I'm not the perfect gardener, but my stuff grows. It may not grow the best or the worst, but it grows. I get something. As long as you go out there and water and don't let the weeds get too high, because gardening is not easy. Don't let the weeds get too high. You'll be just fine. That is definitely Aki. I got to put this in a pot. Wait a minute. I haven't looked at this one. The unveiling. So if they look alike, that means that person sent me 4 instead of 2. Unless I ordered 2 and there were 2 per set. That's possible. I hate taking people's stuff without paying for them. But I threw the box out for this one. And we'll see if it's the same seller in a minute. I wouldn't want to do, I have a conscience because I know that everybody's, trying to make it. And I don't want to just take somebody's stuff and not pay for it. But I threw that thing out. Nope, this is different. This is a different one. This is different. But it's the same handwriting. It's the same handwriting. So it's the same people. I gotta check my order and make sure that I didn't order 2 Aki more than I think I may have ordered Aki more than once. I'll check my order. If I didn't, I'll get in contact with them and pay for what I got. Because both of them came in alive. The other ones are already repotted. So this, let's see how these look. You see how they did the same thing. Everybody tapes it to the bottom of the box, right? So that if the post office just does this, it doesn't affect the plant. The only way it affects the plant is if they stomp on the box like they did my poor what's that thing called? No, I got Aki on the mind. Soursop tree. That survived after I babied it. I was on a live when I first started YouTube. I was on a live boo-hooing about it. I was so mad about it. That was an eBay plant though. And it wasn't the shipper's fault. The post office stepped on it. The box came in flat. And the plant was flat. Like it was like on purpose. It was like they did it on purpose. All right. So, shoot, this thing is taped up. Still not done with the unboxing. I'm just trying to get them all off. They use the same kind of markers that I use. You can use more than once. And they're not that expensive. So they put, not only do they take some paper towels and they put it on the bottom of the plant to keep the moisture in. And then when I open this thing, there's probably going to be a paper towel on top also. So let's cut this off. So excited. Can you tell? I hate it when sometimes I'm so chipper, right? Other times I feel chipper, but it doesn't resonate in my voice. Plants are my thing though. Oh no. Okay, I saw a dead leaf. I saw a dead leaf initially. That is not a dead leaf, by the way. I'm gonna show you what I looked at because I was like, oh no, it didn't make it. So they tape it on the bottom. Look in there. See there? See that? Not only do they tape it on the bottom of the box, but they wrap this joker, they wrap tape into the plant. So there's tape on the top also. You gotta be careful when you get this thing off. Not to snip the plant. Okay. All right. I need this. I made a mess. So this is what I saw. See that right there? That is the cocoa seed. Comes up. I tried to grow the one that I got from the supermarket. It didn't grow for me. That's why I had to order them. So it says red pod cacao right there. It's the same nursery because it's the same markings. It's the same markings on the thing right here. And they don't look alike. I was saying to myself, this looks like Aki, and it does. That's the cacao, and that's the Aki. All of these plants are tropical. And I'm in zone 8B. Not zone 9. I ain't got no business having none of these plants because I'm going to struggle with them. But if I could struggle with lemon trees, I could go ahead and struggle with these fruit because I grew up. Oh, man, I threw dirt on the floor. I grew up eating most of this stuff. And I can't find breadfruit in the supermarket. And Aki, I could only get Aki in the can. And canned Aki don't taste that good. It don't taste the same way. Canned food, you know, if you can food, you know what I'm talking about. If you eat, everybody's eating canned food. It's not the same as fresh. It never is. Sylvia's Garden Adventure, how you doing? Did I miss anybody? Sweets from Heaven, how you doing? I think I said hi to you, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna take this off because it says red pop. That's only another thing is I gotta do better with keeping my markings straight. Because if you don't, you ain't gonna know what you got. I got so many trees now. Oh boy, here we go. They tape this joker off. They tape this joker up good. All right. There we are. If I don't keep my markings intact, I don't know what they are. I have so many trees, especially if it's a citrus, because I'm leaf detection for me. They all look alike. Some people can. Some people have went through the trouble of looking at the details of their plants, but I haven't. Unless they're obviously, because I looked at that thing and I said that looked like Aki to me, but I couldn't read the handwriting. So here's our 2 chocolate plants. And yes, I have tried to grow this plant and did not succeed, which is why I bought it. I tried when I was in Hawaii. This guy had some breadfruit that was rotten, right? And you could tell that he was a farmer, and he had, the only time you could sell at that market was on the weekend, and you could tell that with breadfruit it comes a point where it's just gonna rotten. It's gonna just get soft and it's not gonna be any good. So he was in the shade, like it's called IAEA Stadium. If you ever go to Oahu, that's where the swap meet is. And he was like on the inner circle in the shade, and people don't go in there because that's where the local stuff is. That's where you go to get your long beans and stuff that locals eat, right? So he was in the shade, and he had a bunch of breadfruit, and I touched a couple of them. He said, "Yeah, they're really soft," and I said, "I don't care. I just want the seeds." And he was like, "Well," I said, "How much you selling them for?" And he was like, "Well, I can't charge you what I sell them for." I said, "How much you selling for?" He said, "I'll give them to you one for $1." My eyes got real wide. I went and broke open about 5, 6 of them breadfruit trees. But by the time I think with some of the seeds, if the seed dries out, it's no good. So by the time I got home, because I still had a couple of days, about 5, 6 days left in Hawaii. By the time I got home, the seeds were way too dry. Some of these seeds, like this one, the chocolate tree, if that seed dry out, it's most likely not gonna germinate. I watched a bunch of, when I try to grow something, I try to research it as much as possible, especially with tropical plants. And there was an old man, I don't know, he was in Peru or somewhere, and he was growing the cacao tree, the chocolate tree. He was like, if that pod dries up, it will not grow. So maybe that's what happened to my Aki. The only plant that I had success with was the custard apple. What is it called here? The sweet sop. So there's a sour sop and there's a sweet sop. And when I got home, I put the sweet sop seeds in a pot, and they grew. Then I went on vacation again. The Texas sun culled all of them, just demolished all of them. They were all gone. I was so mad at myself because I was saying, you know how hot it is. It goes over 100 here in August. Shoot, July, August, September. You know how hot it is. And I left a bowl of water, but by the time I got back, that bowl was completely dry, and all of the sweet sop were brown. I couldn't bring them back. I'm still sad about that. Can you tell? So let me get to the chat. Has anybody ever had any of these? Because if you haven't, try them. They are expensive, and they're expensive for a reason, because they're hard to get. Supply and demand. Breadfruit. If you like potatoes, it's a lighter version of potatoes, and I think it's better. It has like a semi-sweet taste. And I think if you have diabetes, this is better for you. It's not as starchy. Aki. People think that, how can I say it nicely? People think that Jamaicans are very brave for eating this plant, because Aki, we eat the petals, like the petals of the what is the name of that? Sorrel. We don't eat the seed. We eat the petals that are around it, the pestioles or whatever you call it. However, Aki, if the flower is not open and you force it, it's poisonous. So you gotta wait until it open, and then you can harvest it. That's why people think that something's wrong with us for eating that. You eating that poisonous plant? There's a lot of plants that you got to wait till a certain stage in their life to eat them, or they can hurt you. And Aki is definitely one of them. You want to off somebody, feed them off Aki that you don't forced open. Don't do that, though. Don't do that. And Dream, how you doing? Thank you. Thank you. So I got this thing for tropical fruit, but I'm in zone 8B. I tried to go south. I guess I could have went further south, but when I moved here, I was in love with Austin. And now I wish I moved. Well, no, because they had got problems down there too. I'm glad that I moved here. I'm just gonna have to figure out a way to keep these things alive. Sweets of Heaven, thank you for that information. My cocoa seeds was dried out and I didn't get to germinate. Is that the same thing with the soursop seed? I didn't have any luck with my soursop seeds or my sweet sop. My sweet sop seeds were not dry. My soursop seeds dried out and I didn't get anything. So maybe. I know it didn't work for me when they dried out. And I know that the sweet sop, because I was there, and then within 24, 48 hours we were back in Austin. And they worked. It took a long time to come up though. Just like when you plant avocado seed could be sitting in that soil for months. Avocado seeds and ginger seeds, and sweet sop, it did. It took a long time for that joker to come up. Some of those seeds don't germinate quickly. They're just real slow. And if you throw them out, well, it probably would have germinated. So you have to wait a while. I think my sweet sop took me about a month and a half for me to see anything. And then when it came up, I didn't know what it was. So I took my little phone and went on Google and took a picture, and it said sweet sop. I was so happy. And then I went on vacation again and I messed it up. And I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get another set of seeds. I don't know. And buying seeds from other people, now I know that when they bought it from this one particular YouTuber, she actually ate some soursop and sent it to them within days, and it was still fresh enough. And I saw other YouTubers who were getting germination. So if you know somebody who has access or is eating a soursop fruit, ask them to send you some seeds, or ask them to give you the seeds. Because if they're fresh, they're gonna germinate. If they're not, you have seeds that's sitting around forever. Germination gets lower in every seed. The longer you keep a seed around, any seed, the less probability of you getting a germination. You may get some, but with these tropical ones, like this one, the cocoa, it ain't coming up if it dry up. It's old. Let's see. Okay, thank you. Real Kitchen Garden Diva is saying hello, Jamaica. I think you're West Indian, aren't you? I think you're West Indian. So I'm talking about breadfruit today. I got 2 breadfruit over here. And then I got the chocolate tree, a cacao. And then I have Aki. So I got 2 of each on the table, that is, because I got some out in the yard. I'm gonna do my best to keep them up. And look, this thing needs to be up potted. I didn't want to bring any dirt in the house because I didn't want the same thing that happened last time I was on live. I brought a cockroach in the house and almost had a fit. It's like not a good idea. I'm not bringing any soil or anything from outside back in the house because I don't need that kind of problem. Judith Sylvester, sorry about that. I gotta rub this in. Hi, Jamaica. So happy to see you. Love watching the progress of your plants. Are we going to go to your other place with the chickens and the ducks? Oh, so yesterday I sold some chickens, so I didn't get to leave the house. I had a family come over here. I didn't want them to come here, to tell the truth. I told them nobody comes to my property. But they were like, oh, please, we want to see the chickens and this and that. And don't worry, we're good people. They're begging me. I was like, I don't really like people coming to my house. But the little boy, they was like, for my son. People be playing on them kids, man. And I'm an old softy. I was like, oh, okay, come on. Man, that daddy went up in the yard with that fish net. He was hopping. Poor chickens. They bought 8. And then another reason why I didn't go out there, because after that I was completely exhausted, because I met them out and wow, I drove about an hour to meet them, and then they were like, no, and then they were like, we drove 2 hours. They were from San Antonio, somewhere in the San Antonio area, so they drove a while. And he's like, we drove a while, can't you just let us see him for my son? It's my son's birthday. Man, I was like, all right. Anyway, they bought 8 of them, and then I have another person who said they're gonna buy 10 or 15 pullets. I'm gonna wipe that yard out practically. So they're selling. Oh man, selling stuff to people. It's business, right? And this goes for plants or anything. Now, plants, you got in Texas, you have to have a license to sell plants. You have to have a nursery license, which I might get one day. So I don't sell plants or seedlings because I don't want to get in trouble with Lale. But for chickens, you don't, to sell in the store, they have to have all kind of, you have to go and get registered and do all that stuff. But if you do it online as a private citizen, you can sell them. Man, but some of these people, and I try to be professional. I try. But some of these people are terrible. Some of these people are something else. Oh my God. And I have to bite my tongue. Sometimes I want to bite my tongue until it bleeds. And if you don't, it's weird. One lady, because I sold a bunch of Wyandottes and I sold those Cochins. Cochins don't do well in the heat, by the way. So if you get those, you better be up north. They will get a heat stroke on you just like that. Wyandottes are not as bad. Both of them are rare, right? And I got something in. So that's what they wanted. They want the pretty ones. And they said they you know, I don't care what they do with them. Cochins are not good meat. They don't taste very good. They're good for eggs and to be pretty. That's it. Wyandottes are, both of them are heritage breeds, right? They're real pretty, but they're chickens. To me, chicken is a chicken because I told you I got 42 in the incubator right now. I don't get it. I don't get it. Initially, I did. I have 2 that I am emotionally attached to. That's from my first flock. They're from my first flock because everybody else got sold off or culled. And I got 1 male out in the country. Mr. Bardrock is still around. Rudy is still around. And then Cruella, and I only named the ones that I'm going to keep, Cruella and Dum Dum. There's 4 chickens that are from the original set. The rest of them, I don't name them. I don't get emotionally attached to them because I just don't. Once you name them, they take on a different, in your mind, they take on a human-like personality. And I don't do that with something that I know I'm going to sell or I'm going to cull. Because the roosters, they get on my nerves. They're gonna be in a pot. And I don't like doing that either. That's why I sell them. So let's see. Front porch gardener, how you doing? Dang, I'm in the bushes. Sylvia are saying hello. Sylvia said, I wish I was closer. I would get some pullets. I don't want, what is it? I don't want biddies. Oh, you don't want the little ones? The little ones, man. You gotta be careful with them. Let me tell you what I did wrong last time, and I had attrition was high. So I have chicks right now, but these are quail chicks, and I keep them. Let me turn you around. Been sitting so long, I'm cramping up. I keep them in these totes, right? I'm afraid to pull this up because they've been jumping up, and I put holes in the totes. You see that? I don't want them to jump out because they pop up in the air. They're at that stage. So last time let me turn you around. I hatched about 50, 60 chicks because I can sell them. People don't want the little bitty ones because they pass away on you. You breathe on them jokers wrong and they'll pass away on you. So last time I did too many and I didn't have enough of those totes. So I crowded them together. Well, what happens is, so they tell you to get that I'm sorry, I'm on chickens because we were talking about plants. But they tell you not to use that heat lamp and to use the plate. Let me tell you something. The heat lamp can burn your house down if you're not careful. Tie it up because it's better. And I'll tell you why. The plate, that little plate that's supposed to be safer and it's expensive, it's like $50, $60, $70. Well, that thing traps humidity. And what happens is when your chicks go in there, if you don't change that pine every day, the humidity gets trapped under there and they pass away on you. They get respiratory problems and you just find them under that thing gone. So I didn't have enough room last time because I only have so many containers, and I had one heat lamp, one set of chicks that were in a heat lamp. All of those were just fine. All of them made it. The other ones that had the plate is bad. I was like, what? So now I'm telling people, I said, hey, they tell you not to get the heat lamp, and the heat lamp is way cheaper, by the way. It has a big old clamp on it, right? And you put it on the side of your brooder. Tie it up onto the ceiling. So if it falls, it'll dangle. It won't hit the pine shavings. But that thing works better because it allows fresh air. They go up under those plates. All the humidity comes straight up, hits the plate, and go right back down to the chick. And then you ain't gonna have a chick. That's why a lot of people lose their chicks. Now I understand where we're going wrong, because I was like, why? And I had a bunch of chicks. There were too many under there. If you're going to use that plate, don't have more than 12, in my opinion. So, anyway, or take these containers, get a room, get a heater, a space heater, close the bedroom or the closet, and lock those jokers down. That's another way. Keep them in their container and keep that one room or closet. A closet is better, actually. The smaller the space, the better. Just make sure there ain't nothing in there to catch fire. Close it down, because chicks it has to be about 90. It's uncomfortable. It has to be over 90 degrees when they're first born. They have to be super hot. The incubator is running at 100 degrees. When they hatch at 100 degrees. Don't take them down to 80, 70. You got to keep them at least 90 or above. 90 to 100, in between that for at least the first week. And then you slowly wean them down. Because if you don't, you ain't going to have no chicks. If you use that plate and it get humidity in there, you ain't have no chicks. So that's just my take on that. Sorry to get on that. Good afternoon, Sharon Compton. How you doing? Sweets of Heaven saying hi. So I'm into plants, and I mean, the more you do stuff, the more you know about it. Just like I know if these seeds dried, some of these seeds dried, you don't get nothing, because I tried over and over again. And with tropical fruit, you only get so many chances because you don't have access to the seeds a lot. You might run across, you get the opportunity to go to one of these tropical places, or in South Texas. They have things down there that we don't have up here in Central Texas. So I go down there, I don't go down to the Padre, Brownsville, Texas. I don't go down there except maybe once a year, because it's Texas, but it's 8 hours away or 7 hours away, depending on what time we leave. So I don't go down there that much, because it's a day. It's a day to get down there and it's a day to get back. That's a long drive. And when you're coming back, they looking in the car, and if you look like you don't belong in this country, they pull you over. You come from Padre, the ICE is there. They've been there for a long time, though. So I was telling my girlfriend, I said, there was 4 of us that came back. When we went down there for New Year's. And I have a girlfriend, she and her husband went with us, right? And she's African American, right? She's black. But if she washes her hair, she looks Hispanic. Luckily, that day, she had pulled her hair back and put it in a ponytail. I said, man, girl, if you had just let your curly hair down, we'd have got pulled over. Because they wouldn't have known. They look at me and they saw my nappy hair and they was like, oh, let her go. But you would have got us pulled over. They were there. They've been there. Every time we go down to Padre Island, they're checking. They're looking in people's cars. Sometimes they'll stop you, and sometimes they'll just wave you on. And that's coming from the U.S. to the U.S. I mean, Padre is the U.S. Padre Island is Texas. So when I go down there, I go to the little nurseries and I try to get what I can get, because I know I ain't gonna be able to find it here in Central Texas. However, I'll pay for it. Just like with the papaya trees get really tall, as tall as this house, a 2-story. So I planted papaya from a papaya I got from the supermarket, but after a while, I'm not gonna be able to keep it because it's gonna be too tall. There's nowhere I can keep it. Same thing goes with these. That's why I need a high tunnel. So I'll be taking donations because I can't afford it. Oh, I think I can get an exam. What is that they saying that the government will give you a high tunnel? Man, I hope they didn't stop that program. They're stopping a lot of stuff. This country needs the money, and they're stopping giving away free stuff. But I heard that you get a high tunnel for free. But I think you have to plant in the ground. I'll check it out. But that's what I'm gonna need, because at this point I'm getting too many tropical trees, and that little greenhouse that I have is not tall enough. I know that because my Barbados cherries are blooming outside of the greenhouse right now. So I just want to show you guys my breadfruit. My Aki that I didn't know I had because I couldn't read the handwriting. And my chocolate trees, my cacao. So excited, especially about the breadfruit. All of them, actually. All of them. I've been wanting Aki for a long time, but I wasn't sure that I know it has to be in heat. It grows in Jamaica. Wild. It's everywhere. So are breadfruit. Breadfruit are big though. Breadfruit is like a pecan tree. So is mango trees after a while. But breadfruit is definitely, I saw breadfruit. Where were we? We were in Negril. We saw a breadfruit that was just draping over and dropping. Breadfruit was hanging off it like there was a million breadfruit on it. It was so beautiful. And what I wanted to do is go up to the people, one of the whoever, I didn't even know who it belonged to because the tree was too big. I couldn't tell whose property it was on. It was a big breadfruit tree. It had to be there for at least 50, 60. That thing was huge. But sometimes Jamaicans don't want to be bothered. I was afraid to ask because they'll tell you off. You want to my breadfruit? Some rude. They're sitting there trying to relax, and you come up there begging for their breadfruit. I'll pay you. Sharon Compton, I just conditioned my hair with rain down here in Alabama. My hair is curly and you better bring your passport with you. I'm just joking. You better bring your driver's license. I told that girl, I said, she got that curly hair. The water, the one you put water in, curl up. Oh. One day we went to her house unannounced because we like that, right? This is before she got married. She opened that door, all that curly hair. I looked at it and said, I didn't know your hair looked like that. I was jealous. I was a hater. I was like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. You just put water in it, it does that. Me, that's why my hair is tied up right now, because I was like, I just washed my hair and I said, I just can't do it today. I combed it out, thank goodness, because if I don't comb my hair out, well, shoot, I'm gonna have to cut it off because it's gonna turn into a Brillo pad. Urban Gardening Chronicles. Sometimes the food rotten in the yard and they won't share it. Somebody stole my soursop off my tree in St. Anne, and the tree was 1 acre in from the road. They do that to my cousin in Falmouth. She has coconut trees, right? And she said the man come climb her coconut tree, because you gotta climb coconut trees are real high, right? He climbed her coconut tree, chopped it down with his machete, pushed it over his back, and walked down the road. And when she saw him, he was walking off the, and she has about a half acre. She was walking to the gate to leave her property because he had to jump the fence or climb the fence to get there, right? And he waved at her. The nerve. But I was afraid to ask him. That breadfruit tree, man, what is it by Scotchies? I forget what it is. Scotchy. It was in the grill. And man, that breadfruit tree has so many breadfruit on it. It was a million breadfruit. I was just, man, all I could think of is like, maybe I could find somebody who could roast it for me, because if I roast it, I could bring it back to the United States, right? I said, maybe I could find somebody who could roast the breadfruit for me, and I wrap it in some foil and some plastic, and then I could bring it to the United States because it's cooked. No, I was too afraid. I looked in that woman's face. She didn't smile. She was out there doing something, minding her business. And I didn't want to be the one to interrupt her because, shoot, Jamaicans don't play. They decide whether they like you like in 2-3 seconds. You blink the wrong way sometimes, and they go want to hurt you. I'm not true. There's a lot of everybody's different, but the lady was relaxing on her thing, and I wasn't sure it was her breadfruit tree, and I didn't want to go inside. You don't want to go inside the end streets when you're not a Jamaican, or you're not from that area. I don't want to go knocking on people's door, asking them, begging for their breadfruit. So I didn't get any. I was so hurt. What a jerk! No, I was afraid. Oh, you talking about the guy who stole my cousin's coconuts? He did it more than once. She's an old lady, right? A lot of my family has left Jamaica. She passed away since then by now. I think she passed away. I think one of her grandsons came back to Jamaica and staying there now. But man, she was an old lady. She was in her 70s. We was probably saying, what's she gonna do? He went and chopped down the woman's coconuts and probably was selling them. So a lot of people need money in Jamaica, and if they see an opportunity, well, they take it. Darlene Eddie, are you going to bring those tropical trees inside for the winter? What's your plans? I have a greenhouse out there, so they'll be in there. And in the wintertime, when it gets cold, I have space heaters, garage heaters. One of them broke, by the way. I got to buy another one. I have garage heaters, and I plug it into the wall, and I keep that thing. When I go into my greenhouse, it feels like summer in there. Some people say it's dangerous to do that. Now my greenhouse is plastic, but it's that hard plastic. But I've seen people with the soft plastic do it. Growing What I Eat, he does it. He has a different kind. He has the one with the green plastic on it. Mine is like that white hard plastic, but it works. He's the one who told me, because when I watch people's videos, sometimes I ain't listening to what they say. I'm watching what they do and what they have. I was like, wait a minute, what is that? And I said, and then I typed into his thing, what kind of heater is that? And he said that's a garage heater, and I use it to keep my greenhouse warm in the wintertime. And I did the same thing he did, and he was right, because I was growing not this year, but all of my tropical fruit are in there, and none of them passed away. None of them. No aloe, nothing. Everything was warm the whole winter. I plugged it in and turned that thing on when it gets cold. Now we have cold snaps, but if it drops to about 70 during the day, oh, that heater is going on at nighttime, because I ain't gonna wake up to everything being frozen. And sometimes the weatherman is wrong. So if it's 70 during the day or less, sometimes it's expensive, by the way. Sometimes well, not really, because the air is expensive also. Depending on what the day is, that heater could be on consistently or only at nighttime. When dark comes, and especially in it gets colder here around November, and it stays cold until about the end of February. Sometimes I had that heater going the whole time. And I had two of them because I didn't want the heater, the garage heater, to break down, and then I don't have a heater for them. So I had two, and now one broke down, so I have to get another one because I only have one now. You know what they say? One means none, and two means one. I forget who said that. I think it was Granny Karma who said that. She was right. You need two of them. So I had a backup. Now I don't, so I have to buy another one. I'm not looking forward to that because them things ain't cheap. Let's see. LGG, how you doing? You can buy breadfruit at Atlanta. Ah, really? There's a lot of West Indians in it's a lot just like New York. You could buy breadfruit in New York, and that's north of here. But there's not that many Jamaicans in Austin. I hear there's a lot in Houston though, and that's 3-4 hours away from here. So everything, Texas is huge. I don't want to drive that far just to look for a breadfruit. I have a cousin over there, but I ain't going that way no time soon. That's a long drive. Let's see. LGG, blessings, evening gardening is great. Yeah, blessings, evening, sweet. Oh, you're saying hi to everybody. A dream, and dream. Do you have any coffee plants? No. I had a coffee plant, but it passed away. It was a Arabic coffee plant. It passed away. I don't have any coffee plants. I might need to because I'm a coffee drinker. I want this thing to fall down. I might because I'm a coffee drinker. So that would make sense. Darlene, Eddie. Okay, cool. I'm in Georgia. We'll try that. Yeah, the greenhouse with the heater works. I think Growing What I Eat is in Georgia also. That's what he does. And he doesn't, and he's the one who told me about the greenhouse. I was like, because every greenhouse I looked up online was thousands of dollars. And I was complaining. I kept on complaining, talking about I can't afford it. I got to save up. I was saving money for months because those greenhouses I looked at were thousands of dollars. And then I was on a live and I was complaining. I kept on saying, well, I still don't have a greenhouse. I think it was September, October by then. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with all my tropical plants because I didn't want to bring them in the house again. I did it, 2 years ago I brought the lemon trees and all. I had all kind of weird bugs show up in my house. I don't do that anymore. And some people put it in their garage, but shoot, my garage is full of chicken feed. Chicken feed and dog food. Sharon Compton, anything you want tropical you can buy at a reasonable price. I'm only 102 from the 1.02 from the market. Oh, you lucky. I'm in Austin and there's very few Jamaicans here. There's some. I shouldn't even say Jamaicans, West Indians in general. But however, there's more than there used to be because I was wearing my Jamaican shirt, right? Lady came up to me because you don't know who's Jamaican because Jamaicans look like anybody. They could be as light as me or super. I have my first cousin, dark skin, and we went to school together, and they didn't believe. As a matter of fact, his girlfriend almost beat me up one time. I was lying. She thought I was his other woman, his side chick. So she was in the hospital. I hate to get on this, but Jamaicans could look like anybody, and they could be first cousins, just like he is. His father is dark skinned. My father is light skinned. My mother and my auntie are in the middle. Man, this girl, Ann, she was in the hospital. She was taking her blood pressure medicine. She kept on getting sick. So my cousin says, hey, Jamaica, come with me to the hospital because I'm going to and then I'll take you to the supermarket because he was driving. I didn't have a car. I was just visiting New York. Man, we went into that hospital room. That girl looked at me. She gave me a nasty look. I had to show her baby pictures of him and me. I said, hey, that's him and that's me. That's my mama and his mama. I said, first of all, she was in the hospital. I didn't want to make her sicker than she was. And I wanted to tell my cousin, because my cousin don't think about stuff like, your family members don't think about that. Most West Indians, they don't think about it. if you are born in a lot of countries, there is no race. You are just a Jamaican, no matter what you look like. He didn't think about it because we were raised as Jamaicans, right? We were born in the United States, but we were raised by Jamaicans, so we don't think about that. And I didn't think about that until that girl blinked, and then I realized what she thought. And I had to tell her because I'm a woman, I could sense it. I was like, oh no, 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 I'm his cousin. She looked at me like, yeah, right. Bring this yellow girl up in here. She's oh my God. With her blonde hair. And him, he don't look nothing like her. I was like, man. So finally I pulled up an old picture and said, look, this is Thanksgiving 1972. Then she kind of calmed down. I was like, man. Whew. Yeah. That girl was upset and she was already sick. She looked like she wanted to hop up out of that bed, that hospital bed, and rip my damn hair out. And I didn't realize I was in danger until it was too late. Oh, wait. I'm his cousin. Then she's still looking at me like, yeah, right. These are New Yorkers, they'll fight you now. She was ready to beat me up in the hospital. You know, a lot of people didn't believe us. Cousins, first cousins, didn't believe us. But a Jamaican can come in any color, look like every color of the rainbow. It's not just one. You can look at, the people they show you. A lot of people see one, mostly African or not, mostly people of African descent on the TV. That is not true. That's not what all Jamaicans look. All Jamaicans look different. Jamaica used to be hate to say it, the playground, the tropical playground for a lot of countries. We have Chinese, the Chinaman went through there, the Indians are in there, Caucasian. We had a ship that wrecked there that they never left. They look like me. I look like them. So Jamaican can look like anything. So don't judge a book by its cover. And most people didn't know I was Jamaican, just descendant of a Jamaican, because I don't have an accent. And I hear people talking about us, and then I tell them, hey, my whole family is Jamaican. I don't appreciate you talking about us like that. It's weird. People, you can't even say, yeah, it's prejudice. That's what it is. Not against colors, against, against a country that they probably never been to. Because if they went to Jamaica, they would love it. I'm biased. Anyway, I planted a couple of things that reminded me of home, because I can't find them here in Austin unless I buy Aki in the can. And Aki in the can is $10 a can. They're robbing us. $10. And you can't buy, I can't find breadfruit here. So there's certain things that I'm complaining about, but had I moved back to New York, I could have got it. Because there's Jamaicans there. As a matter of fact, there's a place called Jamaica Queens. It's full of Jamaicans. Jamaicans are everywhere in New York, though. They're everywhere, including my house with my mama or Muma. So I just wanted to show you all a couple of things and to tell you not to be afraid to try things. One thing that I recommend you do try is breadfruit. If you see a breadfruit, or ask them, if you go to one of those Chinese markets, the little stands, they probably got it. Ask them if they have any breadfruit. It looked like a big green orange. It's about that big usually. And sometimes it has sap, white sap on the outside. It's not very appealing. You peel the breadfruit, right? You core it, you get that core out, and you slice it up, and you either boil it, or you could slice it up and fry it, or you can bake it. I don't know if I like it. I like it fried best. But you can do either one. I've talked enough. I just wanted to share with you some of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get these planted outside, and I'm going to put them in the greenhouse in the shade. When you get new plants, don't put them in direct sunlight. Just warning you. I've learned from my mistakes. Don't put them in direct sunlight. I'm going to put them in the shade and make sure they get enough water, and that I get them out of whatever this is, because this is most likely cocoa core or peat moss. This is not soil, because they can't ship soil. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life. I thank everybody for being with me. I hope you all have a blessed day. Stay safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.